Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome back to You Are the Ocean, a podcast dedicated to navigating life's currents, moving in divine flow, and connecting to your inner wisdom. I'm your host, Tara. And to those of you who are listening, I'm on YouTube now. What? Just kidding. I'm ready for this, right? Right, Spirit? You said do the thing, so I'm doing the thing. Yeah, sorry about that. I was putting this off. Because I got issues. I've got issues with being seen, being heard, being discovered, all of the above. And that's kind of what this episode is about. Do it scared and unprepared. Before we jump in though, do you like my setup? Isn't it cute? I've been decorating my house so it looks like a little fairy coven, hovel. I don't know. Where do fairies live? I don't know. That's why I'm wearing these little wings that I had for I had a fairy themed birthday last year. Oh, you know what? I just realized I'm wearing headphones. I don't need the headphones. Yoink. That's why I sounded so muffled. Okay, well, hi again. But yeah, let's start with unprepared, right? Unprepared. How do I mean that? Well, if you're starting something new, if you're anything like me, you may have the tendency to over research things, like to just Google search, what's the best this? What's the best way to do that? For me, even when I first started for the podcast, I found myself Googling, what kind of microphone and blah, 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 blah. And I got all confused because all these audio people were I don't know, tech, blah, 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 blah stuff that I just my brain just glazes over as soon as people start talking about stuff that I'm like, huh? So, so in the end, I found that I was procrastinating because I kept thinking well, what if I order the wrong mic or this or that, or what if the audio quality, blah, blah, blah. But I kept getting these nudges from spirit. That's just kind of saying, just do the thing. Just do it. Don't think so hard about it, right? So I just got these $20, here it is, $20 microphone thing on Amazon. Comes in a two-pack. And it was super cheap, and it's is it the best quality? No. Could I get a better mic one day? Yeah, I probably will. I don't totally feel the need to do it right now. Sue me. But on top of that, though, I was also looking into editing. How do I edit? What software should I use? And all of this stuff. And again, insert a bunch of techie explanations and all of these things talking about stuff that I have no idea what it's about. Just getting confused and more turned around. And in the end, I couldn't even use any of the software anyway because my computer was so old. It literally would not let me download it. So what did I do? I recorded using the audio recorder on my Samsung, and I edited on the little audio voice recorder. And that's how I put out the first 10 episodes of the podcast. Yeah, I would literally just edit on my phone. It was a pain, but I did it and it worked, right? I started, and I think that was the biggest hurdle, was just starting, right? We hold ourselves back in so many ways, thinking that everything has to be just right, everything has to be perfect, right? That's just your ego. I mean, even the title of this YouTube channel like that ended up being something to procrastinate over because I couldn't think of what I wanted to name it. Like, I didn't want to name it after the podcast. I knew that because I didn't know, I wasn't sure if I wanted to, I don't know, branch off and do other things other than just the podcast on the channel. And I wanted to leave my options open. I didn't want to restrict myself to just only the podcast. So in this way, I had to think of another name. Like, it was bad enough thinking of a podcast name. In the end, with the podcast, I just ended up picking like one of the first names that I thought of. And that ended up happening again. This time, I ended up going with like one of the first names that I thought of. Is it perfect? No. Does it have some qualities? Yeah. Like, um, but I noticed that I was like, could not think of for the life of me a name. And I was like, Spirit, what's a good name? What's a good name for for the show? The show? For the channel. And I was pondering all of this, and then I was watching these videos to help with my fear of being seen by this creator called Ayanda Stood, like I understood. She's amazing. But in one of her videos, I remember I was just watching it, and it was like, what was it? It was like, your ego is waiting for the perfect name. And I was like, oh, called out, like legitimately. It was like I had just been thinking about it too, and I was watching your video, and it was just like, she was like, just why are you so worried about getting the perfect name? Just do it. And I was like, oh, I am procrastinating again because this isn't something that I totally like wanted to do. Exactly. I was avoiding it. When I first started the podcast, actually, I kind of knew it was going to be video format. But I was kind of like, Spirit, I know you want me to share my voice, but guess what? I'm going to do it in audio only because I do what I want and you can't make me. But at a certain point, you just got to cave, right? Spirit knows best. And I kept getting these nudges to do videos, go on the YouTube and stuff. So one of the things that like irritates me, is that the word, that bothers me about the whole being seen thing is that essentially this is me really stepping in to the version of me um that I know I'm supposed to be, right? I'm like teeter tottering on like really grasping this aspect of myself. Like, do I think this YouTube channel is gonna go anywhere? I don't know. I really don't know. Like, if I can help one person, sure. If somebody can hear some of the things that I say, resonate, not feel as alone as maybe they do as I had in the past, then that's amazing. Or if watching my video changes their algorithm so they find somebody who's actually like for them, that's amazing too. The thing is, I have no idea why I need to start this channel. I just know that I was told to. You guys are probably thinking, like, what? How are you told to? Well, synchronistic things, If you know, you start to pick up on things. But this video is not about synchronicities. I think I talked about that in another episode. I did totally talk about synchronicities. But well, where was I? Hold on, give me a second to reboot. Right. The fear of being seen. If you see me looking down like this, I have like a little note thing that's set up to try and help me keep my little crazy brain on track because it just bounces around like a ping pong ball. As you'll probably notice, which is why, the podcast was helpful because I could be more structured about the way I spoke. But then I realized I don't think I'm supposed to be as structured. I'm not a very structured person. Like, so it's neither here nor there. Um, so what's uncomfortable is that I'm becoming a version of myself that is not really going to be recognizable by people who actually know me in real life. Um, so kind of it's like weird. Like the internet is one thing, but like in real life, like I don't know. Like I shouldn't care. I shouldn't care. Like who cares really what people think? I tell myself like I don't, and then somehow I'm like, you still sort of do. Like I think part of me is like also worried about like losing people that I actually like in my life because they might start being like, Tara's crazy. She's on that starseed stuff. Um, Actually, I feel like most of the people that know me don't know what a starseed is. Anyway, like, so because it's inevitable to lose people sometimes as you are moving into the version of yourself that you're supposed to be. You stop showing up in the way that people expect you to show up. You start talking about stuff that people are like, what the heck are you talking about? And it just, you know, things start to shift and they change. And for the most part, like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But like, I feel like I'm going to be thrown for like, and this is probably just like my ego anxiety, thinking that I'm going to be thrown for like a loop and like somebody's going to drop out of my life that I actually am like really going to miss. And it's probably from like that happening like a lot of times in my life. I actually recently discovered that there's like a history of like losing friends that I have out of like nowhere. And I'm just like, what? So that fear is there. I don't think I'm going to lose the really good friends that I have now, though. So that's something that I need to realize. It's like when I think about the others that left, I kind of see how they wouldn't really fit into the life that I'm living right now. But the people that I do have are here to stay. I know that. Um, so that could be something that is halting you from stepping into a new chapter, doing that new thing, whatever it is, whatever you're thinking about right now is probably the thing. Um, and you kind of have to just do it anyway. So even though I lost those friends, there was always somebody else who came in afterwards. Funnily enough, there was always like a new person who stepped into my life and stepped up into that role of a very good friend that I could rely on. And even though I lost like several of them along the way, I finally found those people that are going to be solid. So as those people fall away, as those relationships fall away, just know that God is going to replace them with someone that's more aligned. And that's the whole point. The whole point of being authentic is in order to be more aligned with everything that is meant for you in this life. If I just keep pretending that I'm not like a super spiritual person, then I'm not going to feel fulfilled by the situations and the people that are in my life because they don't reflect what's truly in my soul and like my spirit, what I want to speak about, what is important to me. In the end, I'm only like suffocating my own voice. I'm not giving myself the chance to actually really expand. Um, and we're not doing that anymore. Okay. We are expanding and we're stretching out and we're taking up a ton of space because that is what we're meant to do here. We're not meant to live small, you guys. The source does not want that for you. The source does not want that for anybody. We were taught to be small. We learned how to shrink ourselves down. And like, I'm just not about that life anymore. And you shouldn't be either. So Scary thing, I guess, about this is like, I guess, what is it? To like be perceived failing. So let's say like I get 3 views per video. Like, I mean, honestly, that doesn't really bother me that much. Like, I feel like this process here is like a lot of it's for me. A lot of it is for me because I feel like I've said this before that I am saying the words that I need to hear. Past version of me needs to hear, a present version of me needs to hear. Um, and I also think that this is literally just training to get me used to just being out in the world as I am. So, regardless of whether or not this video gets big, it doesn't matter. It's a part of my journey for a reason. It's here to teach me something, right? There's something that I need to learn here. So, I think maybe, I know, you may have like a lot of like high hopes about something that you're starting or maybe something that you're getting into, and I think that we should just I don't want to be like dampen your expectations. No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is sometimes, actually almost all of the time we don't see the plan. Like maybe the thing that you think is like the thing for you is actually just a stepping stone to get you closer to what's actually for you. Like you just don't know. We can only dream up what we can dream, and we dream so small and compared to what the universe can see. So like don't be afraid to be seen failing, because everyone else who's looking and being like, wow, such and such only has like 5 views, haha, like, bro, like, I'm literally just doing what I'm called to do. This is part of a higher purpose. Like, I literally do not care about what my views look like, because like maybe this is not the point. Maybe blowing up on YouTube is not the point of me being here. Maybe there's something else I'm supposed to discover by being here, by doing this. One of those things being doing something that I'm afraid to do, doing something that I said that I never would do ever, and giving myself a chance to speak openly and authentically from my heart space, because like honestly there's not like a lot of spaces that I can do that in my real life. I do have some really special friends that I talked about that like allow me to be this spiritual person, um judgment free, and those spaces are amazing. But like I find that I just crave more. More. And so maybe this is going to introduce me to another friend or another person, or just more community of people who like get it, like that are here on the journey. Um, soul family. I honestly like there's so many things in my life that I've done that I didn't see the merit in until much later. So I'm not gonna knock this just because I'm like, I don't know, not popular. On the other hand, though, hilariously, there's the fear of becoming like popular and successful. That actually sits heavier on me than having less views, hilariously. Honestly, like the idea of like being like undiscovered is kind of refreshing, because it's like I'm talking to myself, like whatever. Like also nobody is expecting me to like show up in any kind of way, like to post frequently. Actually, I post on time. Oh, on the new moon and the full moon is when I post these podcasts slash videos now. For those of you who are new, probably should have put that at the start. Too late now. But it's kind of just like whatever, talking to the void. Nobody's gonna see this. Ha, who cares, right? But then the idea of like a lot of people seeing it, like a lot of people actually, that scares me way more. That's like way worse for me for some reason. Um, And it probably just has to do with just being witnessed as I am. Because for, I'm blanking. For the majority, the large majority of my life, I was rejected for being how I was, from a young age. And then I learned to reject myself. And then after that, I got into a romantic relationship long term that also rejected parts of me that were the authentic parts of me. And so there was all of this input telling me that I couldn't be myself, that I'm inherently wrong. Like, I just should not, don't do all of that. Stop being you, or like you can only be these parts of you because these parts of you are acceptable, but these other parts of you are not acceptable. But like that just means the entirety of me is not acceptable, because you can't like accept like one part of somebody. Like, that's not accepting the person. You have to accept everything. So if I have to reject one part of me, I have to reject every part of me. So if one person rejects one part of me, they're rejecting me and at its core, because all of it makes up who I am, right? So, you know, being seen as like how I am to like the world, to like, let's say like thousands of people, yeah, puts a pit in my stomach. I can feel it right now. Yeah, let's not think about that too much. Um, gosh, let me see. Is there anything else that I wanted to talk about? I don't know. I think this is it. Yeah. Um, oh, I did want to, I noticed something, that this is my 13th episode, and I noticed that, you know, the 13 or number 13 in tarot is the death card. And for those of you who don't know, the death card is about endings and also new beginnings, because when something dies, it can also be reborn. So I thought that was like really symbolic that it landed on this day, because I was actually trying to put this out at the like two episodes ago. I think I was trying to go for 11 because I like, 11, 11, 11. And then I was like, okay, never mind, whatever, I'll just do 12. Still didn't pan out. So it ended up being now. And at first I was like 13, but then I was like, 13, the death card. It's because I'm saying goodbye to the old Tara who hides in the shadows and also ignores spirit's calling even when I hear it. I'm not that person anymore. So let's take a moment of silence for the past me that did its best to protect me up until this point, kept me alive, to be honest. Like, that led me to this point that I can sit here now and blab to you. Thank you, Tara. All right. Moment of silence was like 2 seconds, but I'm a Gemini. Waiting is hard. I'm just kidding. That's not true for all Geminis, but it is for me. Right. I think that's all. Ooh, let's just pull like one card for the week ahead. I think last time I did what should we focus on? So whatever. Let's do it again. I don't feel like thinking of a question. Maybe next time I'll have like a prepared question. What should we focus on for the couple weeks ahead? Because I do these in 2-week cycles. What should we focus on? Well, that one wanted to come out. Oh, 6 of Wands. Victory! Victory foreseen! So, the 6 of Wands, yeah, it's the card of victory. It's the card of accomplishments. So the story behind it is that the knight is coming back from war after being victorious, and they're marching through and they're celebrating. And so I think your advice, or the what you should focus on, it's not advice, kind of advice, what you should focus on for the weeks ahead is all of the accomplishments that you've done. And I feel like this is like similar to the last one, but like, yes. So focus on the accomplishments that you have done. Give yourself time to appreciate what you've done. Oh, is this for me? I think it could be for everybody, because we don't ever give ourselves nearly enough credit, because we're always expected to keep rushing and moving into the next thing, because if we're not doing stuff, we're just not important. We're dust in the wind, um, or something. But yeah, you're doing a lot. I'm doing a lot. And we forget because we just get used to doing a lot. And so, what have you accomplished? Like, have you given yourself credit? Have you given yourself a chance to celebrate? To give yourself a little like march, little ow, a little parade? Did you give yourself a parade? I hope that wasn't too loud. I'm sorry for yelling. I yell a lot. Hi, baby. Hi. Oh, it's my cat. We've been blessed. Hi. Oh, okay. Well, I was I was gonna sign off right now. So I mean, this is probably a good time to do it, because once she wakes up, it's not heated. Sorry, she was looking at the candle like, huh? Anyway, once she wakes up, she kind of just starts to yap like me. And so it's also her dinner time, so she's gonna start yelling any second. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate yourself. Okay? That's all I have for you guys. Thanks for listening and watching. Leave all of the things, the comments, the likes, the subscriptions, the stuff, all the things that all the platforms, that stuff. All right. And I guess I'll see you in the next one.